Over 60? This Japanese leg routine fixes balance in days doctor approved. You're walking down a familiar hallway at night, maybe to get a glass of water, and your hand instinctively finds the wall. Or you stand up from your favorite chair and feel a momentary, subtle swim in your head before you take a step. That feeling is something many of us experience, and the first thing to know is this: it is not your fault. It's not a sign that something is suddenly, terribly wrong. What you're likely sensing is a change in your body's most quiet, unnoticed system, its internal sense of position. Think of it as your built-in GPS. Tiny, intelligent nerves in the soles of your feet and around your ankles are constantly sending messages to your brain, telling it exactly where your body is in space. After 60, these messages can become a little slower, a little less precise. It's like those tiny messengers have gotten quieter. This isn't a catastrophe, it's a change. And the beautiful part is that once we understand this mechanism, we can start to work with it. The path forward begins not with fear, but with simply learning to listen more closely to what your feet have been trying to say. Now, let's talk about the true architects of your stability. Most of us think about the big muscles in the front of our thighs when we think of leg strength. And yes, they are important. But balance isn't really about power, it's about subtle, lightning-fast adjustments. That work is done by quieter, deeper muscles you likely never think about. The first set lives around the sides of your hips. They are your body's natural sway control, preventing you from tipping over with each step. The second crucial set is in the front of your ankles, allowing you to lift your toes and smoothly roll from heel to toe as you walk. These are your foundational anchors. If they've grown dormant from lack of specific use, you can have very strong legs and still feel unsteady. Here is the wonderful part. These stabilizing muscles don't need months of grueling work to reawaken. They are designed for precision, not brute force, and they respond almost immediately to the correct, gentle stimulation. The routine we'll explore is specifically designed to have a conversation with these forgotten heroes, reminding them of their vital job and restoring that foundational sense of security with every move you make. There is another, invisible component to balance that often gets overlooked: the mind. Let's talk about a very common, natural cycle. You have a moment where you feel a little off balance, maybe you caught your toe on a rug. That moment plants a seed of caution. Now, the next time you walk, you move more tentatively. You might stiffen your posture, holding your breath slightly, trying to control every movement. Ironically, this stiff, cautious movement actually makes it harder for your ankles and hips to make those tiny, fluid corrections that keep you upright. It's a self-reinforcing loop where fear itself becomes a risk factor. Understanding this cycle is the first step to breaking it. The approach we're going to explore does something beautiful. It addresses both sides of the equation. The slow, mindful movements are a form of neural retraining for calmness as much as they are physical exercise for stability. They give you a concrete, gentle practice to reach for the moment, that old anxiety whispers, effectively replacing that fear with a new, grounded protocol. This is how we reclaim not just steadiness, but also confidence. Many of us have heard the advice: to improve balance, you need to build stronger legs. So you might do chair squats or leg lifts, and you get stronger. You can feel that. But then you stand up and walk, and that subtle unsteadiness, it's still there. This is incredibly frustrating, and it leads people to think the problem is with them, that they just need to work harder. Please let me reassure you, the problem is not your effort. It's likely that you've been focusing on the wrong thing. Think of it like this. If you have a bookshelf that's wobbling because its joints are loose, adding more books to the top shelf, making it heavier and stronger, won't fix the wobble. You need to tighten the joints at the base. For your body, pure strength work often bypasses the small, reactive stabilizer muscles and the delicate neural wiring that controls them in real time. What we need is to fine-tune the communication, the conversation, between your brain and your feet. This isn't about adding more muscle power, it's about sharpening the signal. That refinement requires a different, more mindful type of movement, and it's where true, lasting stability is built. Now, let's talk about a common and completely understandable habit: holding on. When you feel unsteady, reaching for a countertop or the back of a chair is a smart, safe reflex, and safety must always come first. However, when we use that support during dedicated balance practice, we can unintentionally delay our progress. Here's why. If your hand is constantly bearing 2 or 3 pounds of your weight, it's taking over the job your ankles and hip stabilizers are supposed to be doing. Those muscles stay in the background, never getting the message that they need to wake up and work. The method we'll use introduces a powerful shift in strategy. Instead of a firm grip, we use light touch for orientation. You'll place a single fingertip against a wall or a stable chair. This maintains your safety net. If you truly start to go, You can press for support, but it forces your lower body to recruit its own stabilizers to hold you upright. It's the difference between learning to ride a bicycle with training wheels that never come off, and using them only long enough to find your center of balance. This subtle change is where your body begins to reclaim its own innate stability. This brings us to a final, crucial point about how to move. For building stability, we need to completely shift our idea of what effective exercise looks like. Forget about rushing through repetitions or pushing until you're out of breath. For retraining your balance system, slow is profoundly powerful. Speed actually allows your body to mask instability. You can muscle your way through a movement without ever engaging the right, small stabilizers. What we need is deliberate, conscious control. Imagine the difference between a laborer swinging a sledgehammer with great force and a master watchmaker's hands, moving with impossible precision and awareness. We are training to be the watchmaker of our own movement. The routine you'll learn is about focused attention, not fatigue. You will move slowly enough to feel the exact moment your weight shifts from your heel to the ball of your foot, to notice which muscle engages first. This quality of attention is what rewires the neural pathways for stability, making every single second of your practice deeply and directly effective. It's a calmer, smarter path to feeling truly secure. Now we come to the heart of the approach, the element that transforms these movements from simple calisthenics into a powerful practice for lasting stability. It begins with a Japanese concept called Roshin-Shin, which translates to rooting mind. This isn't just a poetic idea, it's a practical, neurological starting point. Before you do a single exercise, you will practice Roshin-Shin. It means taking a moment to truly arrive in your body and connect to the ground. Instead of just standing there thinking about your grocery list, you bring your full attention to the soles of your feet. Feel the weight distributed between your heel, the ball of your foot, your little toe, your big toe. Imagine, if it helps, that gentle roots are extending from your feet down into the floor, anchoring you. This conscious act does something remarkable. It instantly switches on your body's positional awareness, that quiet system we talked about, and sends a signal of safety to your nervous system. It turns a mechanical task into a grounding meditation. That initial, mindful connection is the secret ingredient that makes every physical movement that follows so much more effective. It all begins not with your muscles, but with your mind. The second key principle from this tradition gives you a precise physical anchor for that rooted feeling. It's called the Hara. Think of your Hara as your body's natural and true center of gravity. You can find it easily. Place your hand flat on your lower abdomen, about 2 finger widths below your navel. That area, deep inside, is your Hara. When we feel unsteady, our attention and tension often rise up into our shoulders and chest. We become top-heavy, like a pole trying to balance on its end. The concept of the Hara teaches us to sync our awareness and initiate movement from this lower, central core instead. It acts like the keel of a sailboat or a gyroscope, providing inherent stability the moment you engage it. Let's try a simple test right now. Place your hand there. Now, ever so slowly, shift your weight from your right foot to your left. Try to feel the movement originating from that point below your hand, as if you're leading with your center. Do you feel how that changes the quality of the shift? It becomes smoother, more integrated. Learning to move from your Hara is what prevents that wobbly, disconnected feeling and turns your entire torso into a stable pillar over your feet. You might wonder how these elegant concepts translate into medical science. From a clinical perspective, this method works because it holistically engages the 3 systems responsible for your balance. First, the somatosensory system, that's the nerves in your feet and skin sending positional data. The rooting mind practice directly amplifies this feedback. Second, the vestibular system in your inner ear, which senses head movement. The slow, controlled motions train this system without overwhelming it. Third, your visual system, which the focused gaze during practice helps stabilize. Focusing on the Hara does something equally important. It optimizes your core engagement. Research consistently shows that strong, anticipatory core activation is a major predictor of preventing falls. So, while the terms Roshin-Shin and Hara are cultural, the benefits are neurologically precise. This isn't folklore, it's a synergistic tune-up. By integrating the mind, the core, and the senses simultaneously, this approach creates rapid, noticeable improvements because it addresses the entire stability equation at once. Before we move into the routine itself, let's take a moment to create the perfect environment for success. This is about setting up a safe, supportive space so you can practice with complete confidence and focus. First, place a sturdy, stable chair right next to you, well within arm's reach. This chair is your home base for safety. We won't be gripping it, but knowing it's there allows you to relax and fully engage in the work. Next, stand on a firm, non-slip surface. If it's safe for you to do so, practice barefoot or in socks. This isn't mandatory, but it helps your feet feel the floor better, enhancing that rooting connection. Wear comfortable, loose clothing that doesn't restrict your movement. Now take 3 slow, deep breaths. This ritual isn't just practical, it's a signal to your nervous system that it's time for calm, focused learning. You are creating your personal laboratory for stability, and you are in complete control. Now, let's begin with the first and most fundamental exercise. It's called Sesshoku, which means contact, and its purpose is to reintroduce you to the feeling of the ground with exquisite slowness. Stand with your feet about hip-width apart, in a comfortable, natural stance. Place a single fingertip of one hand lightly on the seat back of your chair for orientation, just a touch, no weight. Here is the entire movement. You are going to slowly roll your weight forward onto the balls of your feet. Go so slowly that you can feel the precise instant the pressure leaves your heels, travels through your arches, and finally settles into the pads behind your toes. Your toes will gently kiss the floor, but don't lift your heels. Pause for a breath there. Now, with the same deliberate care, roll your weight all the way back onto your heels, feeling the pressure travel in reverse until you feel it fully in your heels, with the balls of your feet lightly touching. That is one cycle. Your feet never leave the floor. The goal is not the sway itself, but the sensory map you create. Do this 10 times. With each cycle, listen. Feel which parts of your foot engage. Notice if one side is tighter than the other. This is Sesshoku, a detailed, respectful conversation with the very foundation of your stability, waking up those sleeping nerves and reminding your brain of every inch of your base. Now, let's bring your hips into the conversation while maintaining that grounded stance. This next movement is called Enso, which refers to a hand-drawn circle in Zen art, representing harmony and completeness. Place your hands comfortably on your hips. This helps you feel what's moving and, more importantly, what should stay still. Here's the image I want you to hold. Imagine the very tip of your tailbone is a delicate paintbrush. Your task is to use that brush to slowly, smoothly draw a perfect circle on a wall directly behind you. The movement comes purely from your hips. Your shoulders and chest should remain as calm and level as possible. Think of them as a still shelf above moving hips. The circle you draw should be small, no larger than a dinner plate. The magic is in the control, not the size. Trace 5 gentle circles in a clockwise direction, focusing on making the line as even as you can. Then pause, and trace 5 more circles moving counterclockwise. Feel this work in the sides of your hips and your buttocks. Those are your deep gluteal stabilizers waking up. Remember your hara, your center. Initiate this gentle motion from that point below your navel. This isn't about creating a big stretch. It's about teaching your hips how to participate in balance with fluid, controlled adjustments, connecting your stable base to your upright posture. After practicing the morning rooting routine for a few days, you've done the essential work of waking up individual components: your feet, your ankles, your hips. Now, we take the next natural step, guided by a principle called nagar, which means flow. Think of the morning exercises like practicing individual musical scales on the piano. They are vital for skill, but music happens when you connect the notes into a melody. In daily life, balance is never a frozen pose. It's the graceful, fluid recovery between steps, the smooth turn from the stove to the sink, the unthinking adjustment as you reach for a book. The afternoon sequence is designed to train exactly that, seamless transition. We will begin linking movements together, teaching your brain to manage shifts in weight and direction without conscious strain. This is where the practice moves from your exercise space into your body's automatic vocabulary, creating that newfound sense of effortless stability you'll begin to feel in your everyday walk. This first flow exercise trains the most fundamental real-world balance skill, the weight transfer of walking. It's called Utsuri, which means to transfer or to shift. Begin standing with your feet about shoulder-width apart, hands relaxed at your sides, with your chair nearby for a light fingertip touch if desired. Now, with immense slowness, begin to shift your entire body weight onto your right foot. Feel your right ankle engage and your right hip tighten slightly to accept this load. As your weight fully commits, allow your left heel to rise from the floor, followed by the ball of your left foot, lifting it just an inch no higher. Your left leg is relaxed. Hold this position for a calm 2 count. Feel your right leg, from ankle to hip, working diligently to keep you perfectly steady. This is the moment we're training. Then, with the same deliberate care, reverse the process. Gently place the ball of your left foot down, then the heel, and slowly shift your weight back to center. Pause. Now repeat the entire sequence, transferring everything to your left foot. Imagine you are passing your entire body weight from one foot to the other as if it were a full, precious cup of tea you cannot spill. The slowness is what makes it effective, directly strengthening the specific stability required for every step you take. Our final exercise for the flow sequence beautifully combines everything: rooted stance, core awareness, and the stability to move your limbs. It's called Tenchi Reach Sky and Earth. Begin in your steady, hip-width stance. First, the 10 reach for heaven. Slowly raise your right arm straight up overhead, as if you were gently reaching for something on a high shelf. As you do this, focus intensely on keeping your hips perfectly level and your weight evenly balanced between both feet. Do not lean. You'll feel a subtle tightening across your abdomen and the side of your torso. That's your core stabilizing you against the arm movement. Hold for a moment at the top, then slowly lower the arm. Next, the chi reach for earth. Now, hinge forward slightly from your hips, keeping your back nice and straight, and reach your left hand down toward the outside of your right foot, as if picking a flower from the ground. Only go as far as you can while maintaining solid balance and a flat back. Feel the different muscles in your legs and core engaged to hold you in this diagonal line. Slowly return to standing. You have just trained your body for the complex, real-world task of reaching while staying perfectly grounded. To make this newfound stability a permanent part of your life, I want to share the most important concept of all: the micro-practice mindset. The dedicated 5 or 10 minutes you spend on the routines are vital, but the real magic happens when you stop thinking of practice as a separate event. Instead, you begin to see your entire day as a series of opportunities for tiny, effortless stability snacks. For example, while you're brushing your teeth, practice the Sesshoku, heel toes sway ever so gently. When you stand up from the dinner table, take 2 seconds to do a single, small Enso hip circle before you walk away. In the checkout line at the store, bring your awareness to your Hara and feel your rooted connection to the floor. These aren't extra chores, they are seamless integrations. Each one is a brief, powerful signal to your nervous system, reinforcing those new pathways without any added time or effort. This mindset transforms maintenance from a task on a to-do list into a natural, almost unconscious part of how you inhabit your body throughout the day. Now look at your home with new eyes. It's not just a living space, it's your personal, custom-built stability studio. With a few simple tweaks, you can turn everyday routines into powerful, passive practice sessions. Start in the kitchen. Place a folded hand towel or a thin cushion on the floor in front of the sink. When you're washing dishes, stand on it. This slightly unstable surface forces your ankles to make constant micro-adjustments, building strength effortlessly. Each time you walk from the refrigerator to the counter, practice the Utsuri weight transfer with intention, moving with mindful slowness. Make sure your pathways are clear of loose rugs and electrical cords. This isn't just safety, it's creating a clear runway for confident movement. Even while sitting and watching television, you can trace slow circles with your ankles to keep them mobile. These are not reminders of limitation, they are clever, proactive upgrades to your environment. You are ingeniously weaving balance training into the very fabric of your day, using the simple architecture of your home to build a more responsive, resilient body without ever stepping into a gym. Let's talk about what to expect on this journey, so you can recognize and celebrate your progress. By day 3 of consistent practice, you will likely notice a new, subtle awareness in your feet and a sense of calm when you stand still, less mental effort to simply be upright. By day 7, the Utsuri weight transfer will feel noticeably smoother, and you may feel a newfound confidence in transitional moments, like stepping into the shower or getting in and out of the car. By day 30, this practice should begin to feel integrated, a natural part of your movement vocabulary, not a separate exercise. Please remember, any step forward is a victory. This routine is not a test, it's a gift you give to your own independence and peace of mind. You now have the tools, the understanding, and most importantly a safe, gentle, and proven path. Your stability was never a lost cause. It is an innate skill, patiently waiting within you, ready to be rediscovered and strengthened. You have everything you need. Now let's begin.